We are in Rome for 2 days in the middle of July in one of the busiest years for the Jubilee Year. Is it worth it? Let's jump right in and find out. Now, the reason we came to Rome in probably the worst month of the year to visit is because we actually had a cruise booked out of Civitavecchia, which is about an hour or so from Rome. So we decided we might as well go early and see as much of Rome as we could beforehand. So let's dive right in. Now, our trip in Rome actually starts in another country. Yes, you heard that right. The Vatican City in the heart of Rome is actually the smallest independent country in the world. It is only about 110 acres and has a population of around 800 people. It is a monarchy with Pope Leo, the American Pope, let's go, being the head of the state. Now, we begin with the visit to one of the greatest treasure troves of art and history on the planet at the Vatican Museums. Located within the heart of Vatican City, these museums are home to over 70,000 works collected by popes over the centuries, from ancient Roman sculptures to Renaissance masterpieces. The museums were founded in 1506 by Pope Julius II. The museums now span over 7 kilometers of galleries, making them one of the largest and most visited museum complexes in the world. You'll find iconic pieces like the Laocoon and his sons, ancient Egyptian artifacts, Raphael's sconce, and of course the world-famous Sistine Chapel, painted by Michelangelo. Its ceiling is considered one of the greatest artistic achievements in history. And even if you don't know what I'm talking about, I guarantee you've probably seen the most famous picture on that ceiling. Now, while there are no official valuations, some art historians and economists suggest figures ranging from $50 billion to over $200 billion worth of artifacts in these museums. Now, obviously, most of the works of art are priceless, can't be moved or whatever, but that's just what people estimate, so that's pretty insane to think about. Now, we did the early morning visit to the museums. We booked it off Get Your Guide. I'll drop the link in the description. But that meant we were one of the relatively first groups into the museums. We were probably like group 20 to 50, somewhere in that range. But I have to say that it still was insanely packed inside. And honestly, it felt like we were rushing through the entire time, just trying to keep up with our guide, when we really wanted to stop and just really take in some of the beautiful works of art. So that was kind of disappointing. Now, Rose and I really aren't art people, but we were really mesmerized by the beautiful statues and painted ceilings, and we can highly recommend anyone visiting Rome to visit the Vatican museums. Now, it's going to be packed almost no matter when you go, so just try to make the best of it. It's going to be crowded. You just got to expect it, and everyone's trying to take in these beautiful works of art. Now here, guys, I dropped a picture inside the Sistine Chapel showing you that famous ceiling painting that I was talking about. And this is the image I mentioned that everyone probably knows. Now, you're not allowed to film or take pictures in there. People still were, but I like to respect that, so I didn't do it. So I just added those pictures to show you. Now, as you guys can see here, we're walking up to St. Peter's Basilica. And you can see Rose walking, and we're in a line on our own. You see the other line to the right. There was a huge queue of people lined up to try to get in. But all you had to do was download the Jubilee app and book a time slot to enter St. Stephen's Basilica, and then you got to skip the line and walk through the holy door instead of the normal doors. So if you're going to Rome this year, definitely something you want to check out. I'll drop a video from my phone showing you the app and that we booked it. All you had to do was book through the app, show the volunteers, and you're going straight through. It was amazing. Definitely a cheat code for the Jubilee year and Rome and the Vatican City this year. So right here, guys, is the app. Just download it on your phone. I believe it's on Apple and Android. And then you're going to book this experience right here that you're going to see. So here's my profile, and it's going to be the Holy Door of St. Peter's, and it's going to have a couple steps. You got to put your passport in, things like that, but it takes like 10 minutes. Definitely do this when you go. Here we are getting to walk through the Holy Door, which only opens every 25 years during the Jubilee Year. It is the holy year for Catholics, and people from all over the world make the pilgrimage to Rome for this. The doors are sealed with mortar and cement from the inside. Isn't a Jubilee year, so this was definitely an amazing once-in-a-lifetime experience. And thankfully, I remembered to touch the door because Rose forgot. The St. Peter's Basilica you see today was built to replace the old St. Peter's Basilica by Roman Emperor Constantine the Great, with construction beginning in 1506 and ending in 1626. St. Peter's is one of the most renowned works of Italian Renaissance architecture and is the largest church in the world by interior measure. St. Peter's is regarded as one of the holiest Catholic shrines. The basilica is the burial site of St. Peter, chief among Jesus' apostles and also the first bishop of Rome, or first pope of Rome. St. Peter's tomb is directly below the high altar of the basilica, also known as the Altar of the Confession. Now, Rose and I aren't religious by any means, but we just gotta say, wow, this place was amazing. The architecture was outstanding and out of this world, and it's just a place you have to be in to feel and see how amazing it is. We highly recommend you make a stop to St. Peter's Basilica if you're in Rome or the Vatican City. It is free, whereas the Vatican museums you have to pay to go in, so you definitely need to stop here even if you don't plan on visiting the museums. We 100% recommend it, and some of the statues and artwork was just out of this world. You guys are going to see here in a couple seconds one of my favorite statues I've ever seen, and we've seen some pretty amazing statues all around Europe and around the world. So let me see where that is for you guys. All right, this is the statue I was talking about. Just amazing. Fantastic. I loved it. As we left, our guide showed us Pope Leo's living quarters right across the street, and I circled here. You can see the flag means that Pope Leo was actually home at this time. After a very long morning at the Vatican City, it was time to walk back across the bridge and grab some lunch. We had our first ever cacio e pepe, and I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't that great. They were very, very heavy-handed with the pepper. This was not our favorite meal of our time in Rome, so I didn't take a picture of the restaurant. After lunch, we headed over to Piazza Navona, one of the most beautiful piazzas in Rome, and I'll show you guys a little bit more of it after I show you our next thing that we had booked for this trip. So we actually had to come here because we were making pasta. And you guys know, if you watch our videos, this is an experience we love to do in every country we visit. And I couldn't record while we were making the pasta, but there was the before and there's the after of my beautiful pasta that I made. And here you can see a picture of Rose and I with our pasta. Unfortunately, they didn't have us make the sauce. They made the sauce, so we got carbonara and they just added it with our pasta, and then they brought it out to us as a meal. But it was a fun experience, and honestly, the carbonara was banging, I ain't gonna lie. Probably one of the better pastas we had during our time in Rome.
But they're the one who has the most opinion, but they don't understand.
Now, the interesting thing is Piazza Navona was actually a stadium built by Julius Caesar and then expanded on by Emperor Domitian in 85 AD. It wasn't until 1495 that it became the square you see today. But I'm going to put a picture up for you guys to see what it used to look like before it actually became a square. Very, very interesting stuff in Rome. After our delicious pasta, it was time to check out Limone to get the famous lemon sorbet in the lemon. So we didn't know what to expect with this. Rose loves sorbet, so she was all about it. So we definitely wanted to go give it a try. The shop was really cool, all themed around lemons. It was an awesome place to go and check out. But after we got our delicious sorbet, I took this video and I dropped the lid of my limone. Not my limone! Limone! But now Rose is going to tell you how it was. It was fantastic. 10 out of 10 for me.
Amazing.
Best sorbet ever?
Yeah, honestly.
Dang! Yeah, not bad, huh?
I mean, yeah, if you want a selfie with it, for sure. I'd lie.
As you guys can see, the Trevi Fountain was insanely packed. Now this was the middle of the day and we were expecting it to be like this during the middle of the day. They say go super early in the morning, but it was a bit far from our Airbnb and we still saw it. We just didn't really care to take a picture or selfie with it. Looked cool, but definitely overhyped. So take that for what it is. Go early if you want to see it and get a picture with it and everything like that. After a long, hard, and hot day, we just decided to order in. So we got the best rated pizza that was close by our Airbnb. And I'll tell you guys what I thought about it right now. Actually a pretty good pizza for their thin pizza style. Yeah, and it's not like too, like how that one in Milan was, too like soupy. Not bad. As we began day 2, we were on our walk to the Colosseum when we ran into the Vittoriano or Victor Emmanuel II monument. And man, it was such an amazing piece of architecture that we had no idea what it was when we saw it. But it turns out to be a national monument built between 1885 and 1935 to honor the first king of a unified Italy. It honestly amazes me how people back in those days could build such elegant buildings and statues like the ones you see all over Rome. True masterpieces everywhere. And it's truly like an open air museum. And that's probably one of my favorite things about Rome. I had to try a maratozzo in a traditional Roman pastry before we headed into the Colosseum, so let's try it out.
Good?
You might like it.
You don't like it?
No, it's good. Alright, so we booked a Roman Forum and Colosseum dual tour, and they decided that we would start with the Roman Forum. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, we had an earpiece to listen to our guide explain everything, but it was blistering hot outside and we were cooking. I found it really hard to focus and listen to what she was saying, and her accent was a bit hard to understand on top of that. So while it was awesome exploring the place, I didn't really feel like I was retaining any of what she was saying. And like I said earlier, we were visiting in the dead of summer in early July, so the heat, it was definitely a problem. The day before, there was a wildfire in the countryside outside of Rome, and then a gas station also blew up in Rome the day prior. Literally later in the day when we were at the Colosseum, we saw a woman drop down, like drop from heat exhaustion and collapse. And they had to call the ambulance, and the police showed up. It was insane. So definitely something to keep in mind if you visit in the summer months. Highly recommend visiting in the months where it's not as hot, so you can actually really take in the history, listen, take your time, and just really take in all of the sights, because you definitely, at least for me, it didn't feel like I could, because you're just literally trying to beat the heat the whole time. The Roman Forum was the heart of ancient Rome, where many of the oldest and most important structures of the ancient city were located. The Palatine Hill was the residential district connected to the Forum that housed the emperors and wealthy people. Ruins of temples, basilicas, and triumphal arches and government buildings were all housed in the Roman Forum. But now it was finally time to head to the place that I feel like everyone dreams of visiting when they go to Rome, the Colosseum. It stands out in the city. You can see it from so far away. It's such a magnificent, beautiful piece of architecture just plopped down in the middle of the city. And we got lucky because Rose booked us the Underground tour. Now, we didn't get the tickets from the original website because those things sell out in like 3 seconds. So we had a book on Get Your Guide, and it was very expensive compared to the normal tickets, but you got to do what you got to do. So I was really excited for this Underground tour, but I did not know what to expect. So let's go. Now, for the Colosseum Underground tour, a maximum of 25 people are allowed in a group, with guided tours departing every 15 minutes. A total of 1,000 tickets for the Underground and Attic are issued daily. The Underground was off limit for centuries, so getting to go now is a must-do experience in my opinion. The underground area of the Colosseum, also known as the Hypogeum, was a complex network of tunnels and chambers that served as the backstage for the amphitheater spectacles. It housed gladiators, animals, and stage machinery, playing a crucial role in the elaborate shows held in the arena above. Now, what you guys are seeing here is the tunnel that connected the Colosseum to Ludus Magnus, the main gladiator school, allowing gladiators to enter the arena directly without being seen, so it didn't give up the spectacle of who would be fighting in the arena that day and make it more of a big time event. Now, I was not going to add this part and show the full video. I did miss the first part on my recording, but I decided to leave this full video in for you guys, just because I know some people may never visit the Colosseum or the Underground. So I left it in. Take a look and enjoy. And if you want to skip, it's about 3 minutes long. I also got to mention that if you are trying to beat the heat while you're in Rome in the summer, doing the underground tour, there are a lot of covered areas during the tour. So you get to spend some time outside of the heat while visiting the Colosseum. That's a major key. This area you see me zoom in on right here is actually where an elevator was that would take animals or props or whatever up to the main floor when they needed them for an event. Here you can see the bones of animals that were found in the Colosseum that were used for various gladiator games or other events that were hosted at the Colosseum. I thought that was pretty crazy to see. Another cool feature of the underground tour is this part right here was a blocked off area where only people on the tour got to go. So it was one of the only areas where you weren't surrounded by a ton of people while in the Colosseum. And those were the bleachers. Don't think I would want to be sitting on marble. That would be kind of painful. Now, we saw that lady pass out, like I mentioned earlier, and we were getting hot. So we didn't walk up to the second level because we felt like seeing the underground was more than enough. But definitely highly recommend that experience. But now it was time for us to check out the Pantheon. The Pantheon is an ancient 2nd century Roman temple and the most famous rotunda in the world. It is unknown when it was truly built, as the original temple in its place burned down and the emperor decided to inscribe it with the date of the older temple, which was built somewhere between 27 BC and 14 AD. The building is known for its central opening called an oculus. Almost 2,000 years after it was built, the Pantheon's dome is still the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome. It is one of the best preserved of all ancient Roman buildings, in large part because it has been in continuous use throughout its history. Since the 7th century, it has been a church dedicated to Saint Mary and the Martyrs. Now, guys, in my opinion, this building was it was insane, and I feel like I've said that about most of the buildings in Rome. But just, man, the architecture in Rome is outstanding. It's insane. It's something you have to see in your lifetime. Just, it really, really makes you think, like, how did they build these back in those days? And people can't even build buildings like this now. Just insane to think about. The artwork is amazing, and it's just one of those buildings you have to see. It was time for lunch, and one of my coworkers who lived in Italy for a long time recommended we try All'Antico Vinaio, a world famous sandwich shop. And I know the main shop is actually in Florence, but we had a chance to try it here, so we went for it. The line was long, but it moved very quickly. Rose decided to get the Tommy, and I got the Italiana.
La Italiana. Pretty good. Don't know if it's the best sandwich I've had yet. Tell the people that you finally got better food than me.
What?
Tell them that you finally got a better thing than me.
I don't need to tell them. The world knows this happens quite often.
And then, guys, we went and took about a 2 to 3 hour nap because we were beat from that sun and heat. So we went and took a long nap before getting ready to go to dinner. And this one we were very excited for. Trattoria Polizzi, which was founded in 1960. It was recommended to us by our Airbnb host, so we knew it had to be good. We got some bruschetta, and then Rose got her clam pasta. I forget the name of it. Good. And I got a carbonara, and guys, this was the best meal we had in Rome. It's a small little shop, but highly recommend you make a reservation and go. It was fantastic.
Rose be killing that limone.
And then, we had to finish off our trip to Rome with a little gelato to end the night. After that, we headed back to our hotel to get ready for our cruise the next morning. Thank you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned for that cruise video. Peace. See you next time. And don't forget to like and subscribe.